welcome back to another episode of Riding with Jonathan. I'm your host, Jonathan Larson. Today I'm with Mark Wallace from Faith Forward. Is that correct?
You got it, sir.
We are in Fargo. We're on tour, our North Dakota Tour, and you're it.
And I'm it. And we're technically actually in West Fargo.
West Fargo.
We started from the famed Costco parking lot. And now we have us driving over speed bumps in, what is this, a 69?
69.
69 Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Never been.
Never been in one.
Never been.
And you can't tell, but his knees are right up against it. And it's kind of funny to have big dudes in this because, yeah, there's not much room. Where am I going here?
Yeah, let's just go through this roundabout. So we're in West Fargo driving through. Probably going to make it to, I'm calling it Cheyenne Street. I call that the downtown. Probably go straight.
Go straight?
I say call it the second exit.
Second exit.
The second exit of a roundabout.
Okay.
So yeah, you came down this morning from Sioux Falls. Appreciate your time coming to the Fargo-Moorhead community. Fargo-Moorhead, West Fargo.
West Fargo.
We always say we're probably Sioux Falls Junior. I think we're probably...
Yeah, you're probably a little bit behind us, but not by much, I don't think.
No.
Size-wise, I think you guys are growing, so it's pretty good. So, Mark, tell us, what is it that you do? Why are you here?
Yeah.
And yeah, let's just see what you do.
Well, appreciate you coming and asking the questions. Yeah, I'm Mark Wallace. I lead an organization called Faith Forward. To put it simply, my purpose in life is to encourage leaders to walk in the way of the Lord. I personally was involved in, I call it corporate America, but I think like most people, you know, you worked for your organizations. Let's take a right here. We're taking the park tour. This is where I used to take all my kids. And so yeah, I lead this organization. We're a newer 501c3. We were founded just in 2024 by some locals here in Fargo, where we basically just said, hey, what would it look like to live and lead out our faith in our work? And that was something that really resonated with me, having been in business for 15 years, and I specifically had watched, take a left at the stoplight.
All right.
I specifically had, I have a father that's a CEO, a father-in-law that's a CEO. My prior work was in banking, where I got to work with a lot of business owners. And myself, and a lot included, I just saw a lot of people, we just behave with fear. And there's a scripture that we have that tells us to lead a life in faith. And so it's just, how can we encourage and equip people to do that? And so my personal testimony had a speech by one gentleman. His name's Tony Bennett. He's a college basketball coach out in Virginia. I hope your reach is to Virginia, and I hope this lands in his lap, because I've tried to find this man and just thank him for... But what he did was he stood up on stage and he gave his testimony of how he worked in a very secular workforce, but he led his life of faith. And what he really did is he led that with values or pillars, and it changed my life. And I was a different man of how I approached my work. And then this organization here with some locals started up, and I thought that exactly what he spoke at in Richmond, Virginia, was going to be coming to Fargo, North Dakota. And so I'm taking you through a high-end neighborhood, not by intention here, but where we had us landing is this is what is by Costco in Fargo, North Dakota, is this beautiful neighborhood. But if I can do my job, I'm going to try to get you over to 32nd Avenue. So we're going to take a right, probably as soon as you can, down here a block or two.
All right. It doesn't really matter where we drive. I just didn't want to be sitting on the trailer in the Costco parking lot or driving around the parking lot.
Well, conversations can happen whether it's sitting in park or cruising in a sweet ride like this.
All right.
So yeah, you interject anywhere you'd like.
Yeah. So like, what is it that you do then? What is your typical day, and how are you helping these people, and what does that kind of look like?
Yeah, so our introduction is we host events. Okay. So we have a big annual conference. We call it the Faith Forward Conference. And it just so happens to be exactly about 5 weeks out from right now. Okay. And so that was how we initially launched, was last year we held this event featuring over 20 speakers. And we basically pulled people that you'll probably be familiar with. So picture Shields. I know that's in Sioux Falls.
Yep.
When you go into a Shields store, you'll hear contemporary Christian music. When you see an ad around Christmas time, they're going to talk about, Jesus Christ and the birth of Christmas, and they're not going to shy away from saying this is our faith. Yep. And we're like, that's a model. There's something there, and I grew up in a house with a mother that chose to do business there because of that faith. Okay. And so Steve M. Shield, he's a son, and we say M because his dad, Steve D, was a part of that organization. Okay. And so he got up and he talked about how does Shields operate? And being a person, let's take a left, sorry. I'm sorry, I'm the one that's supposed to be directing you.
That's fine. I had a 50-50 shot at it.
And so Steve, the Shields organization is one that I think business schools should be writing case studies on. Here's an organization that literally was grown in a small town called Sabin, Minnesota. And Sabin has roughly, might have 100 people in it today.
Okay.
But it started as a hardware store and now is this retail giant that is literally growing throughout America and building big box stores. Let's take a right at that stop sign.
Okay.
Building big box stores in a world where we're saying everybody's going online.
Yep.
Don't go into a shopping mall. Certainly don't sign a lease for the square footage of a big box store. But how are they doing it? And there's a faith element to it, but there's also, you know what? There's a serving a customer and putting people in an environment and doing it through service and customer service that we all can learn from. And stepping out in faith to do something where the world might say, you know, don't sign a lease space. Certainly don't own your space because you don't want to be stuck with a big box store. Let's take a right. That's totally contrary to what it is. So we put Steve M. Shield up on stage last year and he did a 60-minute keynote.
Okay.
At the same time, we brought in Dr. Henry Cloud, who's a world-known psychologist who's been inside Fortune 500 boardrooms. And then we had about 20 others, leaders in business, both, you know, for-profit, privately owned, and some 501c3s here locally. And we just had a wonderful day where we had about 350 people gathered for this conference and just community equipping of other business minds of how that worked. And coming out of it, we just said, this was our first time. We had a board, a small board.
Yep, okay.
And we just said, the world needs this. We need faith-forward leaders in this world. But we're literally putting our ear to the ground of saying, what does this need to become? And what we heard a lot of was next year. And the voting said, while we love Dr. Henry Cloud and he was a top 3 vote getter, they loved the locals.
Yeah.
They loved hearing Steve Shield. They loved hearing a local pastor stand up and talk about leading with purpose over profit and crafting a whole leadership component around a verse. We did Romans 12 last year. And so we put our heads down and we just said, okay, we hear you, Fargo, Moorhead, and where people are coming. Let's do it again. And then we were gifted an organization, a local organization said, let's take a right here. I apologize. If you can, whoa, we might tip it. We're going to tip it.
Hold on. Oh, we can do it, but we just got to be very careful.
I had to wait to anchor us down there.
Yeah,
so this is a cool thing in Fargo Moorhead. It's called the Lights.
Okay.
So inside this compartment is a outdoor venue. So there's a lot of things from concerts to anything you want to host right inside there.
Oh, okay.
So something new and unique, to Fargo. So we're heading northbound down to your next guest is what I'm heading us towards. Patrick Kirby. He's going to be right by his headquarters, but you'll get to see kind of a revitalized downtown West Fargo. Okay. What you're seeing here. So yeah, we just had this event. A gal that happened to be on our board had an event that she called Breakfast and Bibles, where she was doing something similar. She said, how can we get one person, a leader in our community, to gather community and basically just listen to somebody talk about their faith and their business and their walk and their leadership. And so she gifted us this event called Breakfast and Bibles. That became a quarterly event. And so we work quarterly now this entire year up to this grand big event where we call the Faith Forward Conference. So we've had 3 Breakfasts and Bibles this year throughout, where we've basically gone on and we've grown this movement, that we like to call it, that we've had 350-ish people come to the conference last year. We've picked up an additional 200 along the way through Breakfast and Bibles. And now we're growing this next big conference. And we're all about equipping. And so we think, I don't know, in your line of work, a lot of us go to maybe a conference or an event. I look back at my 15 years and sometimes they were fun to get away, but I don't know if there's any changing that came from conferences. But it's more, how can we equip these people and put them into an environment to build community with other people, and hopefully it'll begin this journey of equipping and transforming their leadership to be not one of fear but one of faith.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times people in their jobs, they're not getting satisfied with what their work is. I got to find first gear. It's not where you think it would be. And so this just kind of helps with that, wouldn't you say like the encouragement that you get and finding that fulfillment in your job, and why are you really doing your job in the first place? Really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what this does. It kind of more unifies. We have something like that back in Sioux Falls as well. But so you've been doing this and you've been seeing progress. I mean, for sure. In this day and age, I think a lot of people are searching out for different things to find that purpose, maybe, and just you know, there's a lot of depression going on.
Yeah.
I blame social media, except for YouTube on these videos, and these are good. But you know, we just always comparing ourselves to other people and what they're doing. It all seems glamorous, but we don't put down the stuff that isn't glamorous. You know what I mean? We don't put down our failures and stuff like that. And so we're like trying to keep up with everybody, and it's not there.
Yeah, and I think when you look out, I mean, this world isn't meant to be comfortable, and there's going to be challenges. I mean, that's scripture. In this world there will be trouble, but take heart, I've overcome the world. That's what Jesus told us. And so, yes, we're all going to find trouble, but it's like, man, if we can find purpose in the trouble, like if you can find a reason, and that's what, you know, when you can unlock something. Last year's conference, there's a gentleman by the name of Howard Dahl. Howard here locally has basically been an equipment manufacturer and has taken his equipment all the way over to Ukraine and Russia, and I mean, done incredible things, and with a faithful foundation. But it was a nugget he dropped that says, if you can find the why in your work, you can endure anyhow. And so that's the trial, that it's like, when we've run into those roadblocks and those troubles, you might have had a flat tire coming here from Sioux Falls. Why are you going to Fargo? And if you can find that purpose that's beyond yourself, and I think I would encourage everybody to find your purpose in your Creator, and that He's gifted a lot of us with a lot of skills, and and if we can shine that light of the gifts that we've been given, but do it for Him and not for ourselves, and bring people and community along the way, next thing you know, I mean, man, history is absolutely littered with, I mean, even this country that we live in, it's incredible. Yeah. To think of the foundation that's been built, but we just need to remember to keep the main thing, and keep encourage people that get out of that closet when you find that trial, to keep going forward, because it's worth it. Yeah. We are going to do it, and to find, sometimes you need that encouragement. Absolutely. Pour courage into people. So, yeah, I'm grateful to hear that you got something in Sioux Falls. We're not here to recreate anything. That we find Fargo, this has been beautiful, but we think we're attracting people from Sioux Falls. I mean, I think who you're probably saying is Joe with God as CEO down there. Well, you got that, and then we have ResGen. And I'm not familiar with ResGen. Yeah, tell me about what they're doing. I'm curious. Well, I'll do that in another video. Yeah, we'll talk about you, but that's so that's kind of along the same lines as what you're doing. And so is this full time for you then, or is this something that you do like part time? I mean, do you have another job, or is this you just pour yourself into this and you're just meeting with people and doing everything with this? So I'm the first hired staff. So I am the executive director of this. I did leave for-profit banking to take on this work. Did take a little step out. I mean, at the moment, it is part-time work. I mean, when you find somebody that leans into these things, that's no different than any entrepreneur. You know, I mean, while it's part-time work, it doesn't mean you give it part-time effort. Correct. I think when you're pouring yourself into your business, I don't know what life was like before you got into your business, but I know a lot of business owners that sometimes don't take home a paycheck. Yeah, that was me for the first couple of years, 4 or 5 years. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, and it was a lot of faith, but I knew I wanted to do, being a benefit auctioneer. I knew I wanted that. I knew I could succeed at it, but I also knew that my overnight success would probably take several years, and I'm going on like 12 years or 13 years, but it's gonna happen, and I'll be ready for it then when it is. So yeah, I think when you step out, and I've seen so many stories like that. I mean, here locally, we even have a podcast called Community Forward, where we shine a light on local business owners. Just to help them go. I mean, I think a lot of us, so here we are in downtown West Fargo, by the way. I should probably be narrating more about this. Well, if I turn the camera around, I probably did back there, but I'll just give them some shots of it, and then they can see out the windows. Yeah, so they've had a huge revitalization down here. So these are all big multi-story buildings where you got commercial on the bottom and apartments up top. Right here, I want to point out Do Good, Better Consulting. That's your next guest right there. That's Patrick Kirby that's coming on here. And so yeah, this is downtown West Fargo. West Fargo gets lumped in, I think, for you coming from from Sioux Falls always say, it's Fargo.
Yeah.
But like anything, Fargo has its own pockets, and people from West Fargo are very, very prideful that West Fargo has their own unique downtown. So we just cruised through that, driving by Sandy's Donuts. If you're looking for a donut shop, that is definitely a go-to.
Am I going to go right or left?
Let's take a right. So now you're going to go down what they call Main. This will take you all the way downtown Fargo. We don't have time to go all the way to downtown, which we should. Red River Valley Fairgrounds. Here locally, you're sitting smack dab in the middle of the Red River Valley. So we got a big fairgrounds that's down to your left. So yeah, very cool community. This community, obviously, as rumor has it, back when North Dakota was getting originated, they broke away from South Dakota territory. Bismarck got the option of whether they wanted the state penitentiary or did they want the college. And they took the state pen. And so Fargo got gifted North Dakota State University, the land-grant university, home of the Bison.
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of people in Sioux Falls, the many time national champion Bison football team, which I wish, that's North Fargo. So back to that, we won't get to North Fargo, but that's very claim to fame here in Fargo, is the college.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. Same as in South Dakota, SDSU and stuff like that, or USD, but it's more SDSU and NDSU that kind of go head to head. So
yeah, I'm fascinated by South Dakota of just SDSU being in Brookings and at USD being in smaller Vermilion, but yet the population center doesn't hold either of them.
No.
It's in the middle though.
It's in the middle. It's pretty close. Now, I mean, like 40 minutes north, 40 minutes south, an hour at the most,
right.
I mean, it's interesting, but it's good. So what do you see for the future? What are your plans for this? What are your goals? What are your aspirations?
Yes, our learning's very early on, and like a lot of businesses, we got our ears wide open. What are people hearing? So back to that local comment.
I'm gonna go get lost back here because this road's too loud.
I love it. So we literally see this as we will not track down people in Sioux Falls, and we will not track down people in Bismarck. But what we're finding is people are coming to Fargo to feel faith forward, and what we've found is that there's people in all these communities.
Yeah.
And so we see right now the Faith Forward Conference in Fargo is being replicated. It's great. It's awesome. It's bringing people in. But we know that people want to stand up in their communities, and somebody one day will come from Vermilion. They will come from Brookings, and they will say, you know what? We got faith forward leaders right here in Brookings, and we want to give them a platform to speak about this, to try to encourage and equip their community to live and lead by faith. And so we almost see it as like a TED model. So you think about like TEDx, those are all independently organized, and one day somebody will come from Des Moines, somebody may come from Nashville, Tennessee, and we'll just be able to hand them. We pray with a little bit of seed money to get this thing going, and we'll just hand them. And we're not here to conduct traffic, but Fargo right now is just on fire. I mean, here locally, I sit in a lot of conversations. Somebody said, it's cool right now to be a business leader and to be faithful here in Fargo, North Dakota. We're so grateful for that because that's different to everybody. This doesn't maybe mean that you're going to lead a Bible study in the morning. It might not mean you're going to lead with prayer. It's something different to everybody, but it's certainly to know where do we find our purpose, who is the one that equips us and sustains us through the trials that we started this conversation with, and to get up every day with purpose. And in the end, it's been a blessing here in Fargo to see the ripple effect that is of the community that's being built because of it.
Oh, that is awesome. So good to hear that. And it's always fun to meet people who are going out there, starting new things, and just stepping out, because it's not easy to walk away from a corporate job where you have a lot of security in any time in life. And especially now, in this day and age, it's just less and less. But now I'm going into different neighborhoods.
Yeah, we're cruising through.
You just have to be able to get me back when it's time to get me back. But
I would say the GPS could help us, but not in this thing.
Not in this thing.
No.
We have no GPS.
Yeah. So one thing God's put on my heart lately too is I think this Community Forward podcast I co-host. There's a gentleman there that owns a local for-profit business.
Okay.
And I'm going to take a detour here. I think there's a lot of words out there that we use, like for-profit and non-profit, and God didn't create either of those terms. And I think in your role of business too is I think there's organizations that start because of impact. They literally see a bigger picture and a give back story. And then there's also ones that start simply for the profits.
Yeah.
For profit. And I'm here to maybe introduce something a little bit different. I'm just saying, I think if we can all find ourselves in an impact story, and maybe just find that, you know, because America decided to say they're 501c3 and they maybe have tax deferred status or whatever it might be,
Yep.
but in the end, we're here to leave an impact greater than ourselves and the means beyond it. There's so many leadership books that have been written on that. Simon Sinek's Start With Why. Find your why or your mission statement or a cause that's beyond yourself. Bigger than, is it Larson and Larson?
Larson and Larson.
Larson
yeah.
and Larson. Something much bigger than your company. That, how are you going to do that? And I see that. I don't know entirely the story of this podcast, but this is beyond you.
Yeah, nobody knows what this is. This is just something I started that took me 8 years, and then I dreamed it up to do it this way. And then now, with every new guest, it just evolves into what it is. So, I mean, I did it last year for a couple, like 8 or 9 episodes in Sioux Falls in October, November. I did a couple episodes now because I can't do it over the winter, and so now I'm in Fargo. You know, and now I'm going to Bismarck with it, and it's just all kind of just lined up, and
But the natural inclination, though, is I pulled up to you at Costco, pulling a trailer of this vehicle. This thing didn't make it all the way from Sioux Falls to Fargo driving.
No, well, it could have, maybe.
But I think the natural question is, Jonathan, how are you making money doing this? And if you're not making money, why are you doing it?
Well, I'm not making money, but I'm doing it just to... I don't need to stay busy now in the month of October when we're filming this. I don't know when it'll be out, but it's just to get out into the community and find interesting people that are doing great things. You know, it's just to get out there and to do it. And I know some people charge to be on their videos and stuff like that, but for me, I'm just putting it out there, using up my time, and if something comes out of it, but usually I just get a nugget or I get something, and just the friendships that I've gotten from it is worth it.
Isn't that something? It's the relationships.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you to go straight. And this is going to be a busy 13th Avenue, so
Okay.
you might need to give her everything she's got. But that's it, right? I think we're all just accustomed to that. It's like, if you can't find the dollar in it, and I'm not here to tear down dollars.
Yeah.
That's the thing about business, and that's where I think probably your work most is. These 501c3s, no money, no mission. I mean, it is the blood inside the organization's body. Without it, they're done. Guess what? Same thing for profits.
Yeah.
In the banking world, I saw so many businesses don't fail. It's because they run out of business.
Yeah.
It's the cash flow. And that's what it is. But it's how can you pair that with purpose and what you're doing and why you're doing it. And along the way, I bet through this, what you're doing of giving yourself and your time to help others, somewhere, you don't know where, but profit will come out of it.
Yeah, probably. I mean, and that's what, you know, you kind of hope down the road, but it's not nothing that's really, it's not on the forefront of it. I just wanted to do a blog or a podcast. We're gonna pull over right here, and I think the sun's not gonna be too harsh signing in, and then we're gonna do a thing called rapid questions. All right, and so, oh, your seatbelts are so tight. All right, so I'm gonna ask you these questions, and then you're gonna answer them. This could be rapidly. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Is your bed made right now?
It is.
What was the best decision of your career?
The best decision of my career, and I can honestly say this, was leaving the work that I did for profit,
Okay.
you know, into the work that I am doing that's purposeful.
Okay. What is your coffee order?
I am a black coffee drinker, no cream, no sugar, and I would entertain whatever kind of roast that they have. So if they have any flavored roast, let's go for it.
Okay. Do you have a Starbucks name?
I do not. I prefer the local options.
Okay. All right. Well, some people, it could be anywhere. I just generalize it as a Starbucks name. Like, even if you go to a restaurant and they go, what's your name? Some people give, like, a fake name. Like
Oh,
an
no.
alias.
I'm giving them Mark.
You're giving a mark. Okay.
Yep.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
This one stumps people because
It does stump
I
people.
think there's just a lot.
when you pick a favorite movie, you can't even remember the name of it. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And I would say that the favorite movie is the one where that guy has the Oakland A's franchise, and he totally Moneyball, and he totally recreates it, which is totally contrary, and that became the whole analytics. I'm a big analytical guy, so I love that whole part of that. Yeah, Moneyball is a great movie.
All right, so I get extra points because I helped you with the name, and that's rare that I could even name that.
Yes.
I can't believe I did that. Karaoke song.
Build Me Up, Buttercup.
Okay, favorite CD in high school or tape, depending on. We'll just say favorite album in high school.
Well, I grew up in the generation of burned CDs, and it's so funny when you do that because you always remember the song that comes after, but you have to hear the song. But to pick on my generation a little bit, I grew up in the Now era, where there was Now 1, Now 2, Now 3. I think they're up to Now 100s. But when I got done, it was probably Now 19. And so, yeah, probably anything that's blended. Okay. Blended multiple artists.
Okay, and first job?
My first job, I delivered newspapers with my dad, the Grand Forks Herald in North Dakota. But prior to that, I mowed lawns with my brother. We did about 20 lawns back home, so a little entrepreneurship there. Actually paid W-2. I managed our golf course and mowed that grass as well.
Wow. This is a pretty big undertaking for...
It's a small town. I don't know if you grew up in a small town, but there's opportunities in small towns.
Morning person or night owl?
I'm a morning person.
Favorite type of work bag?
Work bag. I thought I would like that sophisticated single strap, hold the computer thing. Yep. But I found myself more, just throw it in a North Face backpack and throw it over the shoulder.
Favorite meal?
Favorite meal. Locally, if you have time, Jonathan, you got to go to Vinyl Taco and find yourself a shrimp taco.
Okay. We have a Vinyl Taco, I think, in Sioux Falls.
Yes, and it's owned here locally. He's been on the podcast. If you ever want to hear more about it, go visit them.
All right, I'll check them out. Most irrational fear?
Irrational fear. Man.
You might not have one.
I don't. I mean, there's no phobias in my life.
So some people have them, some people don't.
It's funny. I'll maybe detour. These are supposed to be quick questions. But I know. Even last week, my wife and I were traveling, and we couldn't get the fan to work, and we were glamping. And so I called and said, my fan isn't working. Is there anything I should try? And all of a sudden, it went on. And I said, why is it going on? All of a sudden, I said, can you control that? And she goes, no, but we've heard we've had ghosts. And it was right before bed, dead at night, and you're in a tent. And I kind of went to bed. I go should I be more concerned about this? I have no I don't believe in ghosts, but whatever.
Whatever. I mean, stay on your side. What is in your trunk right now?
Well, I drive a pickup, and so I do not have anything in my trunk. So in my wife's our van, we have survival kits. We have little kids kind of a quick grab and go. This is all thanks to my wife, not thanks to me. But probably more just practical things that if you're on the road and you need a quick park stop or something with children.
All right. Do you have a favorite month?
January, because I'm born in it. And I'm also a guy that I like winter.
You like winter?
I do. And so being here in North Dakota, that's an okay thing.
What is one thing you wish you enjoyed more?
I would say probably reading. I see a lot of people that can peel open a book and just stay entertained like that for hours.
Yeah.
That's a gift. To have that enjoyment and just kind of you're always can be entertained through a good book. I find myself wanting the cliff notes, maybe wanting a video, probably to learn more. But yeah, the enjoyment of reading, that'd be fun.
All right, and what shoe do you put on first?
Probably my left. Now that I've never been asked that, probably my left. Do you do it? Do you know which one you put on?
Yeah, absolutely. It's my left foot.
Yeah.
Every time.
Was I rapid enough?
Yeah, you were good. You were good.
I want to look back at some of those. How did you come up with those?
Googled them.
You Googled them. What's your Starbucks name?
I don't go to Starbucks. I don't have one. I mean, sometimes I do my kids' names.
My aunt, she had their last name can't be pronounced, so whenever you would go out to their last name was Kirkide, so she would always say Kirk.
Okay.
And I always was like, why would you do that? And I'm like, well, it's just easier, and it's truly not giving them your real name, so I kind of can get why some people wouldn't.
Oh, yeah. So I had a friend, Erin, who was on another episode. She came up with the idea of rapid questions. And so I do benefit auctions for her. So hers were geared around events, like the event day and stuff like that. She did it that way. And then I just adjusted it. And some people are really fast at it, and some people, they really think about it, you know, and it's just the way it is. So, yeah, it just kind of adds a little bit to it.
So you're taking a left, you're back on this kind of busier Cheyenne Street. We're going to try to get under interstate, and then we can start working our way back. That's all right with you?
Yep, that'll be good.
So as you've been having these conversations, how many have you had?
Total?
Yeah.
I think I'm up to like 12 or 13. As of right now, but it depends on when this airs.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah. So this is my second season into this, is where we're at with it. And so we'll bank these up as you guys are watching. You're like, well, it's not October. But, and then I just release them because I don't drive the bus in the snow in the winter and the cold. Because you can imagine, it does have a heater, but just like the air conditioner, it's not going to be as powerful. So,
yeah. Can I ask you questions?
Yeah, you can ask me a couple questions.
In your line of work, you obviously deal a lot with like generosity, right? And you're trying to pull generosity out of people, is what I've gathered.
Yep.
How do you coach the heart of generosity, or draw that from people?
I think people generally want to give all the time. It's just a matter if they can give and if you keep them focused on what they're giving. So when I do like a fund mission and stuff like that, you can just kind of tell, and you just say the things that you're thinking. You put yourself in their shoes and what you're thinking, and then you just kind of give it to them and let them think about it. Another thing I also do is I don't oversell it. If people are ready to buy, like when I do a fund mission, I just ask people for money. A lot of times at different levels, they have different talking points. Like if you spend this, give this much money, you can do this. If you give this much money, you can help with this. The truth of the matter is that people have to think they're not going to give because they're thinking about it. You got to make it easy. And you don't try to sell somebody who's ready to buy. Yeah. You just shut up and just let them do their thing. And so it's just being up there and being very genuine.
Yeah.
So when I'm asking for money, they know that I have a heart for this organization. They know that I'm invested in it. I'm not just coming in to do it because I make money off of it, but I really care that this organization succeeds.
Yeah.
And if they can see that, and they can see the leadership, and it's a good organization, then they'll give. They'll be a part of that.
Well, I appreciate your work in that, because I think generosity is a godly virtue, right? I think that the opposite of that is greed, where you keep it in there, but in the midst of all that is fear.
Yeah.
There's fear of your financials, right? Of giving away probably more than you can maybe make next month's rent or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But then there's also the fear in the ask for money, which is a gift that you must have.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, and a lot of people do, as far as like CEOs and the directors and stuff like that, because they're with these people all the time, you know, and so they have a different relationship. But when I come in, I'm like a third party.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just doing that hard ask so they don't have to, and I don't make it awkward. I don't put anybody on the spot. I just let them do with what they feel like they want to do with the heart. You know, I maybe give a little bit more than they were planning on, but it's just giving them the opportunity. All I do is ask.
Yeah.
And then I let them tell me yay or nay, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I would love to probably hide behind that seat, because your next guest is Patrick Kirby, who lives squarely in that role.
And you guys will have to look in those comments, because he's not going to be back-to-back with this one. So.
It won't be back-to-back. Well, yeah, it's fascinating work. It's needed work, right?
Yeah.
That is, for a lot of these 501c3s, I can imagine, they get a lot riding on the events that you step into.
Well, exactly. And you do all this work to put on an event, and then just to turn it over to somebody who's got the night available, like if you get a volunteer or one of your board members does it or something like that. You know, we, as a professional benefit auctioneer, I've done hundreds of these, hundreds of them, and we kind of have an idea of what's going on, and there's a lot of psychology that goes into it of dealing with the people. So you gotta, it's a fine line, but you don't want to just turn it over to just anybody, because they might not care as much as you do. You want somebody up there that is gonna fight for every dollar.
Yeah. And I can imagine. I mean, you have God-given gifts and talents that allow you to do this. I mean, it's not for everybody.
No, it's not. It's a different personality. You got to be able to think on your feet and be able to read people is one of the biggest things, because you can't turn an audience against you or anything like that. You gotta be nice about it, and you can't be pushy, but also you gotta let them know, hey, it'd be all right if you gave a little bit more than what you were planning on and stuff. And yeah, so far it's been good. I love it.
Is there power in silence?
There's a lot of power in silence. That's a good question. So when I start out a fund a mission, I'll sometimes ask for an amount that's more than what we have in the room. So if I say we're going to start at 5,000, but before we start at 5,000, is there anyone who wants to give an amount more than $5,000? Well, you can have 800 people in the room, and they're all just like, they're just quiet because they want to see if anybody's going to do it. And I let them stew on it, let them think about it, and that's where people get uncomfortable when they're asking for money. But sometimes you just have to let people just think about it, just dwell on it. Like, could we do 5,000?
Yeah.
And then, if they can't do 5,000, can they go down to 25 or whatever? So sometimes it's just nice just to have that moment where they're kind of like, what can we do? Where are we at with this? So,
and I think that's probably the intersection of our work. What a little I've learned is just, there's something about, number one, being that first person, to be that leader, step out in faith. Because when I went to my first ever similar auction where somebody came, I was just a young buck, probably 23, going to a benefit, and they were trying to raise money for a van. And they said, if we can raise $20,000 today, we're going to buy a van. So who would pitch in to get us to try to get to that 20,000? That first paddle went up, and that person goes, there's your first van.
Wow.
It was incredible, because I looked at it and I go, one would think it'd be like, well, let's pack up our bags and go home. They got the van that they wanted.
Oh no.
They raised enough for 3 vans.
Nice.
But watching that person go forward and just seeing that heart of generosity, there were people that followed that leader. And so the more we can actually just like equip and encourage people to lead like that and do so faithfully, man, the ripple effect it can have. But sometimes it starts by sitting in awkward silence.
Yeah, just letting people reflect, getting them in the moment of why are we here. There's so many distractions, so many things going on in life, and then you get them to an event and they got so much stuff going on. So if you can just kind of shock them into silence, then they have a chance to think and be like, okay, in the here and now, what can we do? What are we thinking?
Can I ask why Fargo and not south to Council Bluffs or something?
For what?
For here.
For here?
Yeah, why'd you pick Fargo?
I picked Fargo because I was at a conference up in Fargo, met a ton of people, and then they lined it up. Like, I have some great people. Jason Boutwell, I did an interview with him. He did it. Sean McKenna, he's also helped me line it up. And so it just fell into place. And I have quite a few clients in the Bismarck area. So I do quite a bit of work up here. And I like it.
The power of relationships.
Very much so. Like,
So I'm gonna try to actually get you to take this turn lane. Sorry, I'm being horrible.
Yeah, you're not good at this.
I'm staring at you. You have a camera supposed to be recording me. I'm looking at you. It's certainly not the road.
That's all right. I'm good at just taking the last minute things. My wife is usually really good at it, but sometimes, they have that like, oh, by the way, let's go here. So anyways, well, that's been our episode. Mark, thank you so much. It's been a joy having you. It's a pleasure.
I would like to give a shout out, number one, for your work. I mean, I know that today is not paying your bills. It's actually an expense. But I think we were hitting on it, the power of relationships, that it will. And I also want to say a shout out to Jason Boutwell, a dear friend of mine, and he's the one that did get us connected to today. So Jason Boutwell, Pro Resources, a guy that frequents both Sioux Falls and Fargo. So I think there's a lot of similarities, but thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Take care.